Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, episode 389. This is Chris, and joining me today are...
Ames.
Caitlin.
And Jakey.
Today we were talking about Discovery episode Saints of Imperfection. In Saints of Imperfection, we've got two very disparate plots that try to dovetail. We will talk about how effective that was.
Imperfectly, I would say.
Yeah. So in one, we're chasing down Spock's shuttle. We get it, but it's not Spock. It's Giorgio and
What?
Section 31 and all that shit. We meet up with Leland, the previously briefly seen, we thought maybe he was the head of her ship, but it seems like he's the just head of Section 31. Goes out in the field a lot, apparently. We saw him in that deleted scene from season 1 as well, end of last year. That was
It wasn't
him, right?
deleted, it was an extra.
Oh, right, it was an extra they did later.
Yeah.
Anyway, that guy.
It was a tease. Oh, you teased?
Yeah. So they're like, look, we need Giorgio to go after Spock, but we'll leave you a liaison. And that liaison is none other than Ash Tyler.
Oh, we know him.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and
we jizzed.
Pike very appropriately wants nothing the fuck to do with Section 31, because apparently at this time they are even more open of an open secret than when we see them in the 24th century. It seems like almost everybody knows about them.
Recognize their badges.
Yeah, it's weird. But, Pike not happy to see him, does everything he can to restrict his access and ability to speak and all this, which, again, Section 31, yeah, that's fine. I'm with Pike on this one. And then we kind of cut to, oh yeah, Tilly was missing. So Tilly got biologically transported into the mycelial network to help find and kill a monster. Ooh, spooky! But it's not the deleted Vantika voice. It is, in fact, Culber, who got his soul put into the mycelial network.
It's
so
like in Ghostbusters. Whatever you were thinking about becomes reality, right?
Yeah. He's the destroyer. He's Gozer.
He's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Culber.
Yeah, this is definitely the mycelial network is magic in a big way. They try to get him out. It doesn't look like they can, but wait, we've still got the cocoon, so let's just 3D print a new Culber. Oh, and they have to, half jam themselves in the mycelial network to do this. That's when the plots kind of connect, in that it turns out, despite having a liaison there, Leland was just following them.
As an asteroid?
Yeah,
Which
he
is tech
stole...
they have, of course.
Well, they stole it from those Romulans from Season 4 of Enterprise.
Oh, that's right. It was very
ships.
much like the Romulan ship.
Yeah, that thing.
And, Pike is very angry about their having been secretly followed the whole time, rightly so. They keep them from falling into the mycelial network all the way, which would have made them twisty die, like in Season 1. And then Admiral Cornwell tells Pike and Leland they have to work together, and
Now,
also
kiss and make up.
time travel might be involved. Pike is like, what about these more sensible things? But Cornwell is like, dude, this is Star Trek. And they all go, oh yeah.
Have you seen Culber? He's made of spores now.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's basically the gist of it. So, what I find funny about all this is that years ago, we posited that Bones is actually dead from Shore Leave Planet. And, that he was just one of the plant-based replicas.
Good joke.
Now,
good running joke by us.
Now, Hugh is literally the mushrooms rebuilt him. So he is actually a Star Trek doctor who died and came back as a plant person.
But he's not, because that was the problem, right? Because he could have been, initially he wanted to be a plant person, but it turned out that as a plant person, he couldn't survive in
he couldn't
real
pass
space.
that threshold thing.
Well, the DNA wouldn't move over, but it doesn't. But the thing that 3D printed him was fungally mycelial networky.
Yeah, but I feel like the idea there was that it just like reconfigured the matter into actual human stuff.
I totally gave up on all the technobabble surrounding
it was rough.
Yeah, like I said, this is very much like, there's always been varying degrees of technobabble with Star Trek, but at the end of the day, when it comes to the mycelial network, just shrug and say magic. Because all their other technobabble, like I've said before, like, sure, I'll buy that half the time. What the fuck do I know? I was an English major. But with the mycelial network, it's just like, magic. Oh god, what is it? It's not the Heart of Gold in
Hitchhikers,
which is kind of almost like hitting the warp 10 barrier where you're everywhere at once. But the second one, the drive that is based on people trying to figure out a check in a restaurant, that Slarta Bartfast has, and I want to say book 4. That is closer to science than anything in the mycelial network.
Yeah, just don't even try to think too hard about it.
No.
Yeah, the way that because I read Keith DeCandida's review of this, because he was also kind of speaking towards other people who were like, oh, it's so cop-outy the way that they brought Culber back. It's so unbelievable and not science. And he said anyone who's complaining about this should look back at like how they accepted immediately that Spock was back in The Search for Spock, because that's absolutely fucking ridiculous as well. But if you go back and listen to our coverage of The Search for Spock, which we did a million years ago, check it out on the SoundCloud or the YouTube or wherever it is you like it. Good God, we tore that up because it's so stupid too.
It is. It, like, in comparison to this, it's like, of the two, like, neither's great. But it's like, all right, so his body was regrown because of Genesis, which, let's be honest, is magic.
Also magic, true.
But at least, like, the transferring a backup of his consciousness thing, I'm like, okay, sure. But again, that relies on you believing in certain amounts of telekinesis. This isn't telekinesis. This is
telepathy, I guess.
Telepathy and stuff, which again, scientifically dubious.
Yeah, but Star Trek's always had that, so.
Yeah. That's why I think we're just a little more willing to accept it. But if you actually think about it, it's kind of the same thing. Like, I mean, they rebuild the body. The consciousness, rather than being transferred via telepathy, was like magic kisses, which sounds like something out of a Barbie movie.
Yeah. It definitely, it's like Star Trek has introduced yet another cure for death here. Yeah,
this is what, 3, 4? Like,
at
how
least.
I mean, there's like the 3 big ones, I guess. Search for Spock, Magic Khan Blood in the Kelvin timeline, and this. But I mean, the number of times characters have died and come back, like...
Yeah. They make a great joke of it in Lower Decks.
I don't want to spoil it, but there's like a great lampshade. It's not even a lampshade on this trope in Lower Decks.
Yeah, it's quite funny.
It'll be funny when we get to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like they're at least self-aware that it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and the kind of shitty thing is that everyone predicted it. Like months ago. Because not only did they say months ago, yes, we're going to have Wilson Cruz back on the show. Yes, Hugh Culber is coming back. We promise we're not just burying our gays, which is already setting you up for the expectation. But also, like, his name is in the credits for this episode when you first start, so you know it's going to be him. And he'd been doing, like, interviews and shit. So they knew that it was going to be him. So it's kind of a letdown.
But, so here's my thing about it. And I do know how the rest of the show goes, but I don't think this is like a spoiler thing, but like he's back and he's basically just Hugh again. He's the same. Like there's no, as far as I can remember anyway, I don't think like he's really changed as a result of this. It's just like, okay, I'm alive again.
The thing is they give him so much more to do as time goes on.
True.
Like that it's like, it's hard to say whether or not he's the same guy because again, like, he didn't get as much to do in season 1 as I remember so many of these side characters having more to do, but it's because they start giving them more to do from, like, here in season 3 forward. So we don't really know.
I mean, what I think would have been maybe more interesting, rather than just, like, resurrecting the character as another, just a regular human again. Like, give him some special connection to the mycelial network. Like, we know
Stamets has.
Like, well, exactly. Like, we know already that Stamets is the only person that can navigate using the spore drive, but it's like a massive toll on his body and mind when he does it. So it's like, oh, we don't want to do that too often. But like, what if Hugh just like had the fucking ability and could just like, you know, or maybe he's still part mushroom. Maybe there's like something going on with him physiologically. You know, like I feel like there's more interesting things that they could have done. I know that they had they killed the character. They got buyer's remorse because everybody flipped their shit about it, rightfully so. And then they're just like, okay, how do we get him back? What's the quickest and easiest way? Oh, well, Culber was he died when Stamets was like lost in the network, so maybe we could do. It just feels very cop-outy and not like they really like they just like, okay, we need a way to get the character back, but we don't really want to write an interesting plot about it, so we're just gonna like solve it in an episode.
It's just, again, I mean, I'm glad they brought him back, because again, it was like, guys, really, you're doing the bury your gaze thing, but like, and I do really like what they do with him when they start giving him more to do, but it's just like, why did you kill him in the fucking first place? Just don't do that and you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, actually, you know what, I just had a great thought on this, on like how to get Hugh back in a more interesting way. Did anybody here see or read Watchmen, the graphic novel /
Oh, the original. I was going to say, I saw like an episode of the HBO show, which I actually quite liked, but I never finished
there's a movie, and that's based on a comic.
Yeah.
And it's a great comic. I recommend it if you haven't read it. And I recommend the movie, too. The movie's pretty good. Comic's better, though.
Oh, much.
But there's a character who's like a superhero, like a Superman-style superhero. And spoiler alert, I guess. He like dies. Before he's a superhero, he's just a regular guy. He's like a scientist, and he dies in like a really traumatic, horrifying way. And everybody just thinks he just basically exploded, more or less. But then like they start seeing him like partially glimpses of him as like a walking skeleton. And basically what happens, TLDR, in the graphic novel and movie is he's being like reassembled piece by piece by like this, we don't know, some like energy. And then when he reassembles, when he finally returns to his original form, he's this like super being. So I don't know, something like, maybe not making him a super being, but something like maybe like in the gloaming between realms when Stamets is in the cube, which by the way, I think they could have come up with a better name for that. When he's in the cube.
Oh yeah.
Maybe he like sees like, he's like, every time we jump, I see him, like he's there. And you know, we've kind of gotten that, like he has seen visions of him, but like if it's like his body is like being reconstituted out of mycelial stuff or something.
Yeah, in the moment, you said that the cube should have been called the phone booth. Yeah,
isn't that a cooler name? I don't know. It just feels like a more whimsical name than the cube.
Well, and it feels very Star Trek, too, because they'd be like, it's the phone booth. And somebody go, what the fuck is a phone booth? Like, it's this 20th century thing.
Yeah, somebody would pop up and be like, I can't wait to tell you all about it.
Someone always knows.
Tom Harris would fall from the ceiling. Oh, well.
Makes me trust you guys.
What would be interesting, too, I think you're talking about, if Hugh had a special connection to the network, you could almost do this weird, like, you could have this extra tension where, like, maybe Stamets, it's been a while.
Stamets is
a little jealous. Because, like,
that's interesting. Because then that gives him some tension.
Yeah, it's like, why do you get to have this special relationship with my friend? And it could almost be like a bizarre, like, for lack of a better term, love triangle.
Oh, no.
You've been drinking too much of this show's Kool-Aid. That's very soap opera-y.
That's very soapy.
Not literally, but, like, it could be kind of like that. I like the idea that he's, like, kind of jealous that Hugh, who this isn't really his bag, is suddenly, like, has this connection that he would love to have but can't, no matter how much tardigrade blood he jams into his ass.
Yeah, but there's already so much going on this season.
True.
Tardigrade blood enema? No.
Oh, Jesus. I will say the thing that I really do appreciate that's very Star Trek-y about how they bring Culber back is that when May tells them, there's a monster, help me fight it, the second she says that, Tilly's like, yes, I'm on board. And the second Tilly tells that to Michael, Michael's like, yes, I'm on board. We will help these people. And that is great.
Yeah, I like it.
And also, though, they, like, then have to talk her down. Like, no, he was defending himself.
Yeah.
Like, just vengeance isn't
to
gonna
him, you're
do
the
it.
Monster.
Let's all just stop and talk.
We're all monster.
Yeah.
And I overall, I really kind of like this episode.
I like parts of this episode.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's like the technobabble was over the fucking top, and
so much.
And like Stamets figuring out about that it's a transporter and all this stuff. Like, I know that this show does the science ping pong routine where,
that's a good word for it. I like that.
Right? Like where they figure something out just by bouncing the idea back and forth. But like that was like a one man science ping pong.
He was doing it against the wall.
Yeah,
well,
and there was like no sense. No, there was like no logical way that he would have reached that conclusion.
Plot needed him.
Yeah, well, right. No, it's just like, he has to know this, so we're just gonna write it to make it look kind of like he scienced it out, but we're not gonna do the work to have him actually science it out.
Well, see, the problem is, for like a year and a half now, he plays science ping pong with Tilly, but she's missing. So there's no one for him to play it with. Like, they
there's
realize,
no engineer on the ship.
Well, so what would be great is if they had Tig Notaro there, and he tries to science ping pong with her, and she just has none of it.
Yeah, like that would be good. Okay, what? She's like, what?
Is she like too expensive or something to keep around?
No, I think they probably just like. Yeah, I don't know.
Forget they have her, like they forget half of everybody else they have.
Man, yeah harsh.
They gave Robot Lady something to say this week.
That's right. That would be great, though. I would love to see like her just be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
That's like because she was there last week when they figured out what was going on, doing like the weird slow-mo hallucination-y looking thing.
Yeah,
and then she like left to go like have a birthday party for somebody.
Oh man, and this, Caitlin had said, I don't know if it got lost, but she said Stamets, damn it, or something.
Oh yeah.
Why hasn't Tig Notaro said damn it, Stamets in the Rocky Horror style?
I don't, and I don't know. I don't think they ever do either.
I was just gonna say there's still time, but I guess there isn't. The show's over now.
Sad.
Jake, your Dr. Manhattan thing, if you want Culber to walk around with his wang out, you can just say that. You don't have to harken back to 43-year-old comic books. Just say, I want Culber's dick out all the time.
I mean, we've already got that
shit in theaters? We saw that shit at midnight in theaters.
Yeah.
And someone brought their very small children. And I was like, you do not know how much blue dick is going to be on screen. Like, never mind everything else. Like, kids are stupid. They probably wouldn't have even noticed. But just big blue CG
probably
wang.
Fell asleep.
Oh, and it's like, here's the thing. Even if the movie wasn't rated R, which I'm pretty sure it was.
Oh, yeah, it was.
It's a midnight showing. Even if it was a family-friendly film, first of all, why would you have a midnight showing of it?
Didn't we see WALL-E at midnight?
Actually, we might have.
Or was it like 11:30 or something?
It was a late show.
It was late, but still. We all know that Pixar movies are for adults.
Yeah.
They really are.
Well, oh, God, wait. One of you sparked a thought in me, though, and I just... Oh, yeah, I remember when Wilson Cruz, he, basically, one thing he did was he took it upon himself. No one made him do this. He was like, well, Culber's getting a new body.
To get ready to get his wang out. Is that what you're going to say?
Not exactly, but he did. I remember he decided to, get toned.
Oh, my God,
nice.
And he posted all these thirst traps on Instagram.
I was just thinking, is that around that time that he decided that he was going to be, the thirst trap of the century?
Yeah, no, it was around now, because I remember him posting it, being like, no one... They didn't ask me to do this. I just decided it would make sense. It was like the time what's his name got fat for no reason on Always Sunny.
I mean, here's the thing: we've
Danny
and then ripped for reasons.
Yeah.
So Discovery has already shown us Clig Old Biddies.
Yep.
And I mean, it's the next frontier, I guess, would be Culber's mushroom.
Oh my fucking Lord. That's the quotey for you this week, isn't it? Son of a bitch. Follow us on Blue Sky. See if I can make that Jake's quotey.
But there are lots of different kinds of mushrooms. What if it became a hen of the woods or whatever?
Oh, no. Okay, this is going somewhere.
Or what were we talking about last week or 2 weeks ago?
Is that a slime mold, or are you just happy to see me?
Yeah, slime molds. There you go. So those would be his balls, actually.
So overall,
Chris moving
the
on.
science didn't
Good
science.
one, Chris. I agree.
But one thing, too, that struck me about this that kind of came a little out of nowhere and felt a little unearned was the bit at the end where it's like, if we do this, Mai and Tilly won't have a connection anymore. They really liked each other. And it was like, what?
Oh, yeah, Tilly hated her.
Tilly liked her for 5 minutes before she realized she was an hallucination, and they've been antagonistic ever since. What are you talking about?
They make a big deal out of how May, or like the mycelial network through May or some shit, has a connection to Tilly that doesn't seem founded in anything except that Tilly was... Is it just that Tilly was the one who the spore landed on? Is that basically the only connection?
That was
I think the spore landed on Tilly, probed her brain to come up with this May character.
But didn't probe enough to know what crying or pinky swears is.
Yeah, again, that issue of, like, knows everything but also not.
Yeah. Oh, I realized what the Stilly probably is. It's probably S. Tilly, because her first name is Sylvia.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you didn't... I thought when you said it was a stupid nickname, I agreed, but I didn't realize you didn't... Yeah, I assumed that's where it came from, too.
Yeah, I didn't realize it until this episode when I was like, oh, that makes sense now, damn it. Because I always... Because it's easy. You forget that Tilly isn't Tilly's first name.
I honestly,
because it is a first name, isn't it? Tilly?
Yeah.
I mean, not all last names are first names, but that's...
Honestly, even though she's human, I kind of forget she just isn't a mononym.
Huh.
Like Spock, you know?
Like Sting.
Like, that just is her name. Her name is just Tilly.
Yeah. Okay. Can we move on to the other major plot in this episode? The section dirty one.
Aside from how great they dressed Giorgio, I'm already done with it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna rant a touch here, folks.
Go.
Oh boy.
Apologize in advance. But first thing, why have Giorgio on the shuttle at all? Why not just have it be Tyler? If the end result is just gonna be that Tyler is on the ship, there was never any reason for Giorgio to be on the shuttle. They could have just had Giorgio on the other ship the whole time.
We need tension with Michael.
Yeah, I guess. Stupid. Pointless. I mean, not that I'm not complaining about seeing Michelle Yeoh. It's just, from a storytelling perspective, it's like, okay, this seemed like a waste of time to have, Giorgio here and then not.
What were you going to say,
They could have just had...
I don't know. Don't worry about it.
Oh, well, tension with Ash, but that's a different kind of tension.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Ash has tension with
Sexual
Culber.
tension. Oh, yeah. Well, obviously.
And Stamets and Pike.
Sorry about the whole murdering you thing.
I did fucking when he walks on the bridge, Stamets' face, like, are you fucking with me?
Yeah, well, that's another thing, right? So, okay, the Klingons, the stability of the Klingon Empire right now relies on the idea that Ash Tyler has been decapitated.
Good point.
If people find out that he's walking around swinging his dick on starships, and I'm sure the Klingons have an intelligence service themselves, or maybe they don't. They're fairly disorganized, it seems.
Hey, they managed to get what's-his-name onto Space Station K7.
True.
So they got something.
I feel like the whole premise of Ash Tyler existing right now is that he has to be invisible, and that's why he's with Section 31, because they're theoretically, anyway, invisible by definition.
Yeah, but
having him just cavalierly walking around a starship, having lunch in the cafeteria, hanging out on the bridge, word's gonna spread that, hey, that Voke guy that L'Rell told us she decapitated? Yeah, that was bullshit. He's alive. My cousin Mike in Starfleet saw him.
My cousin Mike.
Okay, tinfoilist hat fucking ever. What if the Klingon intelligence apparatus is Section 31?
Whoa.
That's a lot of tinfoil.
But I might have some evidence for this.
The Klingons, let's be honest, you're right. It does seem like, how do they have an intelligence service? So Section 31, it wants to play both sides anyway. They seem to really, really want, they need there to be an enemy so that they themselves can exist. And right now, the big enemy is the Klingons. So they have to manipulate the Klingons behind the scenes. So they get some humans in there, put some fucking knobblies on their head.
Oh,
I don't know that I'm so basically, this Klingon intelligence apparatus is actually a bunch of Section 31 guys disguised as Klingons. And I don't necessarily believe this, at all, because I literally just came up with this mostly as a gag. But Jake, you say you might have evidence for my gag?
Okay, well, no, not so much. Now that you've explained it better, it's less tied in.
What's your version?
Well, no, this is more just another issue I have here with this episode and something that they did. So they've been the Section 31 ship, which is unnamed as far as I know. The ship, I don't know that we know the ship has a name.
If it does, they haven't said it.
The ship has been following... Actually, I got a name for the ship. Spaceball 1. Because that bridge looks exactly like Spaceball 1's bridge when they morphed into Mega Maid.
Oh,
and they're
yay.
a bunch of assholes.
They're a bunch of assholes. They got the staircases. They got like the upper level with the staircases going into the middle. It's totally Spaceball 1.
You know how badly now I wish they had taken the time to do the like musical number scene? With
nice.
Like Pike and Leland and I guess Yo sliding down the stairs and shit.
Bump into each other and fall down. Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, that's amazing.
All right, so I'm unofficially calling that ship Spaceball 1 since they haven't bothered to give it a name. So Spaceball 1's been following them disguised as an asteroid. Wasn't an entire plot point in season 1 that the Klingons had cloaking technology?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the Federation didn't, and therefore the Klingons were able to sneak up on them and kill them and shit. Well, if the Federation has hologram ship technology, that seems just as badass.
We should have been winning that war.
Like, we should have been sneaking up on Klingons disguised as asteroids and blowing their shit up.
Yeah.
The fact that they've put this in here, which again, just like with the is another fucking thing. The audience couldn't see me doing the gesture, but it's the transformer. The transforming tech. Just like they do the transforming tech just because it's cool. You know, they did the hologram starship just because it's cool. They could have made it, if they made it a cloak, just a regular cloak, that would have made more sense because you could say, oh, they just stole that from the Klingons after the war, which, you know, maybe they didn't have it during the war. And you could have Pike be like, a cloaking device? Why do...
Anyway.
Yeah. Why? Like, I know eventually there's the whatever Accords, and that's why Starfleet doesn't use cloaks, but why didn't they before then? Because they definitely had... They stole one from the Romulans in TOS.
Yep.
They get the one from the Bounty in Star Trek 4, presumably. Like, But again, like I said earlier, at least there was precedent for holoship tech in, you know, Enterprise. Like,
I mean, we also don't know that the Federation didn't have cloaking devices in the 23rd century. It's quite possible that they did. And
only Section 31 had them.
Or, you know, maybe like we don't have... There's nothing in canon, really, between the Star Trek TOS films and TNG. So, for all we know, they were cloaking all over the place. And maybe there was some battle with the Romulans. Like, for all we know, here's a head theory. Maybe, you know, so the Romulans destroyed the Enterprise C. Although that was only 20 years earlier. That's not enough time. But I'm wondering when this treaty came about where they just agreed not to develop cloaking technology. I'm guessing it must have come about because of some issues with the Romulans.
Some Badmiral went way too far.
Yeah.
Which is how, you know, that every Starfleet regulation is written in blood caused by a Badmiral.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, we know that Badmiral Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc. Oh, from the Pegasus.
Yeah, was doing illegal experiments.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about, like, maybe the thing is, like, again, it should have just been a cloak. Because, again, could just say, you know, but maybe the reason they couldn't just use their holoship tech and sneak up is, like, maybe the holoship thing doesn't actually block you from sensors, but the reason Discovery didn't notice is because they are Section 31 in Starfleet, they know how to trick Starfleet sensors.
Oh, maybe.
But can't trick Klingon ones. Also, I imagine it must have had to have changed disguises a couple of times, because at some point somebody would go,
there's an asteroid again.
It's following us? Asteroids don't follow things, usually. Throwing that out there.
They just look in the rearview mirror and see it. Like, it's an asteroid again.
It's flashing its high beams. Wait a minute.
Is that
an asshole?
Is that a cop?
The others, okay, so, and this came up too. So Section 31 is evidently just common knowledge. Like, everyone knows about it. They know it by badge. Like, Georgiou doesn't even say we're Section 31. She shows him the badge and like, does this explain it? And he's like, oh, Section 31. Yeah. So I can only assume that, and again, canon, that sometime between now in the 23rd century and DS9 in the 24th century, Section 31, which had evidently just been some division of Starfleet intelligence, was like officially disbanded. Like, they assassinated the wrong dictator and like, or something, and they got disbanded. And then all record of them was just like buried. But in reality,
Doge definitely eliminated them.
Oh,
yeah. Federation Doge came around and Elon Musked them.
If anyone's going to give them a ton of money, it's Doge.
True. Well, that's the thing. Like,
evil.
they would just continue it as a black op that's not official, and that's why Cisco doesn't know anything about it by the 23rd century, because like the rank and file, like the Admiralty knows about it, but they won't acknowledge it. But like your average captain doesn't even know it existed.
Yeah, because I know Admiral, what's his name, the recurring Admiral from DS9, Ross. Thank you. When they mention it to him, he kind of makes a face like, oh, fuck, you found out.
I wonder if when you get the Admiral bar, they also just hand you a bunch of stuff that's like, you'll need to know this shit.
Probably.
Like the Omega Directive from Voyager, when Jane was like, this fucking thing.
Oh, yeah.
Every captain gets that one.
Yeah, and literally no one else.
Yeah. Did you guys notice that apparently this is canonically in Star Trek chronology the first time we see a TAPCOM badge communicator? Because when Leland does it, Pike is like, what the fuck did you just do? You just tapped your chest. What is that? Can I do that? Yeah. I want to tap my chest.
Yeah, they've had this technology for like 100 years before they actually start using it.
I mean, I think that's one of those things. Like, if he had just done it and like Pike maybe made a face, that would be one thing. But the fact they had to have him go, hey, it's like, yes, we got the reference, guys. Come on. Like,
Pike is also constantly complaining about hollows.
He still has one in his office. Like, when he went into the office, Leland was already hollowed.
Yeah, waiting around, eating his snacks.
Well, because the system is on the Discovery, and Leland just, like, given his way, Pike uses a screen, but Leland was just like, I'm phoning in, I'm using the holo, because that's what everyone else does. So that makes sense. Like, had Pike called him on the holo, that would have been weird, because Pike likes screens. But Leland was just already there. And, he ordered the holos taken off Enterprise, but this isn't his ship permanently, so he's not going to fuck with the infrastructure.
How did Cornwell get there?
Transparent asteroid.
Was there the whole fucking time.
She's been there since last season. We just haven't seen her.
Well, I honestly was like, you know what? There's this mission going on. She was probably just with them.
Was she on the Discovery or on Spaceball 1?
Spaceball 1.
Yeah, okay. Maybe. It would be funny if she was just like chilling on Discovery since the last time we saw her.
Yeah. With the chief engineer. They're getting shit-faced all the time.
And the actual CMO, who we never meet.
Nope.
Yeah,
I mean, she is a doctor and like a therapist, so you'd think that, okay, we are going to have some major therapy sessions required on Discovery now that, a man who was murdered has been resurrected.
Oh, and there's his murderer. Which literally, like, the second that you see it's Ash Tyler, you're like, oh, you did this because drama. You did this because you need there to be drama. Like, it makes me wonder a little bit. Because I remember we talked about in season 1 when Brian Fuller was temporarily in charge and not canned yet. He wanted this show to kind of be more of an anthology show, with each season being its own thing.
Yeah.
And I wonder how that would have really been, because now that it's a continuing story with the same characters, it literally means they keep bringing back the same characters because they can't seem to introduce new ones. Like, they bring in Rena, but we never fucking see her.
Well, they showed us Nan, or what's her name? Nan?
Yeah, Nan, the Barzan woman.
I was like, am I calling her Brad right now? I can't remember her real name. Okay, Nan. So they show her, and evidently she's now the chief of security.
Why not?
That's what Burnham said.
Yeah. Oh, she had been a security officer on Enterprise. So I don't know who that's the thing is, because the chief of security had been dumbass Landry. Then it was Ash. It's unclear who it was after Ash left and before Nan showed up.
They didn't really do anything with Saru this week. I know last week was a big Saru week, but
what did he even do?
Nothing.
Just had a line or two. He's still kind of recovering. You know, it's not every day that a major part of your
belief system.
Well, that too. But I was going to say it's not every day a major section of your
body
biology
just falls out. Yeah. What's the fucking
anatomy?
Brain and the nervous system. Huge part of your nervous system just drops out of your fucking head.
Yeah. So I wonder if did he lose his spidey sense for danger? Do you think?
It seems like it. It seems like he's not like last week. He said, "I don't feel fear." So I would imagine that would carry through to his ability to sense things.
Yeah. That's a shame, because that was kind of useful from once.
Yeah, except for when it didn't work.
Yeah,
like
all the times. Like Troy.
Mirror universe boss.
But Saru was much better than Troy.
It's also maybe a good thing, too, because it just, like, having a character with that ability just creates plot holes. Same with Troy. Where it's just like, these are things we can point to as like, why didn't this work in this instance? Oh, because it's subspace.
Every week it's a new species that Betazoids can't read.
Yeah, so it's kind of good that you take away superpowers when you can.
Yeah, well,
it's like Vulcans instead.
In Star Wars, you know, they can randomly say, oh, this species isn't susceptible to the Jedi mind trick for reasons.
Oh, they're a Force dyad. That's a thing. We always knew it.
Oh, yeah, Watto for no reason. Oh, the only reason Watto was immune to mind tricks was so that Qui-Gon Jinn couldn't fleece him out of a warp drive.
Well, even earlier than that, in Jedi, Hutts are less susceptible to it.
I
thought that was because it was always like weak-minded people. Like even from the original movie, It was that like it only works on the weak-minded. Yeah. So I think I thought always the idea was that Jabba the Hutt was just too strong-willed, too strong-willed to fall victim to it,
and hot.
His little snakehead bitch wasn't.
Yeah, you're right.
But then, like in the other movie with Watto,
he says it's because he's a Tridarian.
Yeah,
I think at some point, I think you're right. That was the original idea, and then at some point it became like a species-specific thing because planetarization or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got us off course. Star Trek.
Speaking of superpowers and species that always have more and more superpowers, Vulcans, every review that I've read for this episode is getting so tired of being Spock teased. Like every week it's like, oh, we're going to finally see Spock. Because, you know, Ethan Peck has been out there doing interviews. They've already announced who it's going to be. They're already announced you're going to see Spock soon. And every week it's like, Spock, no, we're not giving you Spock. See, I'm withholding it. Look at me getting off kind of thing.
It's the Surf Dracula problem. Although we get more than 5 minutes of Spock when we do finally get him. But yes, they're dragging their ass.
We're on episode 5. You know, you can see in the teaser for next week, you're not going to see Spock next week. Spoilers. That we're already dragging out so many weeks of, where is Spock? We have to search for Spock. Is he on Genesis Planet again? Stop going to Genesis Planet.
Whenever Spock isn't on screen, the audience should be saying, where's Spock?
Well, he had to. His people needed him. Home.
Yeah.
And now we also know Section 31 is interested in finding Spock, and it's unclear because I think Pike is acting on his own to find Spock. Was that right?
Yeah, he's officially supposed to just be looking into the red signals or whatever.
Yeah, the red angel nonsense, which is also taking forever to get through. But Section 31 is officially searching for Spock, even though I'm sure there are, as someone who supposedly murdered some people, Spock should be being searched for by actual authorities, you'd think. I assume it's just him going through Pon farr, so.
I guess you could maybe say that part of the reason for the prominence of Section 31 right now is, like, last season, the Federation was fucking decimated. So it could be they just took this chance to be like, fuck it, we're going to seize as much power over everything as we can. Fuck this lurking in the shadows shit.
Section 31 is the they in your sentence.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, got it.
Let's just do the do. Let's fucking tell these little wimp fucking Starfleet people how the real world works. So maybe that's kind of why you could argue that suddenly they're a little more like in your face.
I do what I do, so you can do what you do.
Oh God, I do like Leland so far though, but yeah, it is so cartoonish. The fucking Section 31 presence so far.
Yeah, it's just again like they really missed the point of Section 31 with this round of Star Trek.
Can we also count through who knows Georgiou is from the Mirror Universe? Because Jesus Christ, there's a moment where she's talking to Michael, and it's almost like she has to remind people from season 1, like, oh, not everyone knows that I'm Philippa middle name Georgiou of the Emperor, and I like eating Pelpians and shit. It's like,
it was
wow,
like
we don't need that.
One of those like asides to the audience, like from a Shakespearean play. Now, while most of the people don't realize that I'm really Terran Georgiou.
Exactly, but who? So Michael knows.
Saru
knows. Tilly knows.
Leland, obviously.
Does he?
No, I don't think he does.
That's unclear to me if Leland knows. She has dirt on him.
Ash knows, yeah.
Ash I think you're right in that Ash knows. I would assume all of Discovery knows, but they never actually like.
I mean,
make
they're
that
just
clear.
so dense. Like
all of Discovery should know because of what a fucking psychopath she was acting like at the end of last season.
That transporter guy.
That transporter guy. You're right.
I think I can't remember, but I think in the teaser thing they did with Leland, I feel like he makes it clear he knows, but I don't remember now.
We should look that back up because
I feel
unclear
like
if Leland knows.
Cornwell obviously knows.
Yes, right.
Cornwell
She knows.
You're right. It's an interesting dynamic that Pike doesn't know. Like that's a fun thing for the audience to be like, oh, Michael's kind of like talking around it, but she can't tell him yet because there has to be this dramatic irony.
Was there a deleted scene you think from this episode where like when Georgiou and Michael are talking and Michael's like, oh, yeah, by the way, you're not going to believe what happened to
Saru?
Saru, his ganglia fell out, and Georgiou's like, oh, did you keep him? Can I have him?
You still got those?
Nah, I bet once they fall out, they lose all their whatever that makes them...
Yeah, they turned kind of gray, didn't they, when they fell out?
Yeah,
they were a little...
it's just one of those things, you don't... there's a reason we don't just eat animals when they die of old age.
Ganglia.
Ugh.
Oh, no.
Well, don't they usually say that, like, fear and discomfort and shit makes meat gross?
I have no idea.
Kind of wonder if they would be... Actually...
I mean, I've heard that, but I don't know if that's real or something people just put into stories to make it,
I guess I always assumed it was true. But if that were the case, now that Saru feels no pain, maybe all of his body is ganglia-esque. Maybe this is the biggest waste of Kelpian delicacy ever.
Kelpian is a dish best served scared.
I like that. That's good.
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. I think the thing is, like, Pike is definitely like, okay, shit's up because Section 31 is here. Georgiou seems weird. Like, and Michael's like, look, I'm gonna tell you, but not right now. And yeah, it isn't like the main thrust, but there is this idea of like, I don't think they ever really truly interrogate it, but this idea of is sort of secrecy compatible with idealism? Because it seems like he's like, this isn't cool. And she's like, look, I am totally willing to leak this classified shit to you. Now's not the time, but yeah, we will have this talk.
Yeah, not in the middle of a fucking hallway where everyone seems to have their covert talks.
Yeah. Cornwell being like, nation building is hard and it requires gray area shit. And it's like, is that actually compatible with idealism? And like, fucking no, it isn't. So, is the idea of things being classified actually something Starfleet should even have?
That's interesting.
Maybe that's why the security on all ships in the future is so fucking low.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, we're going to see more Section 31. I forget how much they bring up that kind of side of it.
I don't think they do.
I feel like so much because, especially since, there is a Section 31 movie that was originally going to be a show that they had already been planning by this point.
Yeah.
In which they're just sucking the cock of Section 31.
Having seen, so it would be, I don't think there should be a Section 31 anything.
No.
Coat. There should
if
be a
they were going to do a Section 31 series or movie, it should have been dealing with the moral and like ethical issues and like political issues involving Section 31, like
Star Trek,
like a Star Trek movie should be.
Like
the
that.
Section 31 movie we got was, Temu Guardians of the Galaxy, which we didn't need.
Which is very much what the trailer made it look like it was going to be.
Yeah, we'll cover that at some point.
Woof. Yeah, well, I would not recommend it. I'd recommend we're going to have to watch it for the show here. Just wait. Yeah, no, that's defer your disappointment.
That's my plan. Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah, one other thing, the last thing that I wanted to kind of bring up, and it's something that I've brought up before, but I noticed it specifically this episode, is the kind of opening and closing Burnham narrations, which are no longer logs. Like, I think either this is the first or one of the first times that she's just narrating, and it's clearly not a log. And it's just her summing up the moral of the week.
Yeah. And
I always feel like we could cut the narration entirely and the episode wouldn't lose a thing for it. Because I just don't like... There's just something about having to narrate to your audience to make sure that they're getting it that feels like you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
I don't mind an opening log entry,
for
like setting up the episode, but
it's just kind of classic at this point. You're used to it's just part of the tradition at this stage, opening with a scene-setting log.
Yeah, but these ones aren't logs that are giving you the context for the episode. These are just essays that they're telling you about what themes you should be looking for this week.
Yeah, it's funny because I assumed, even though they didn't have her say personal log, I was assuming it was still her log.
I don't think we make this kind of log.
Well, I remember thinking, God damn, fucker writes poetic personal logs. Calm down. I get that you're becoming un-Vulcan, but good God, you don't always... That's the thing. She's becoming un-Vulcan, so she's experiencing live journal angst in her 40s instead of at 15.
She's posting song lyrics.
Oh my God, who's in her top 8? Ash, obviously.
But it's complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of unbelievable that this one person can be so profound every week,
I noticed she did her special Sandlot run again.
Yeah, so this is her actually running. This isn't the jogging, which she's very bouncy. This is the run with the dagger hands.
Yeah, when you want to be fast,
you turn
your hands into knives to slice through the air.
Well, that's because in the 23rd century... scientists realized that Tom Cruise was right, and that makes you faster.
I want to try it. I want to get in better shape and then try it. But
yeah, we should do a myth bust on does it make you go faster if you use knife hands?
Isn't there? There's a certain lean too, right? There's a certain lean that's supposed to be extra fast.
Maybe
the Naruto run or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that.
Well, that's where you don't move your arms at all, but you hold them behind you, right?
No, that was the lean. Ames was talking about the lean forward, and I think...
It's like a whole thing, though, right? Like, you lean forward and then put your arms behind you, and then you can run really fast.
You combine them. You do the lean and the knife hands, you turn into the Flash.
I do the lean and the knife hands, you're just going to judo chop yourself in the face.
I also think you just fall over, because I think there'd be too much weight in the front.
Well, I think that's the idea, is that you make yourself... top heavy, like you're going to fall forward, but you run so fast that you continually catch up with the fall, and eventually you can take orbit.
It's not flying, it's falling with style.
Yay.
Yeah. I do wonder, where did Hollywood get that idea that running with knife hands is code for really fast running?
Oh.
I think he genuinely started it. Because most people, one of the, if not the, I don't know if he does in the first one, but definitely one of the Mission Impossibles.
They definitely ran that way in the Sandlot. And when I was a little kid, I started running that way when playing baseball, base running. Because I was a chubby kid and I was slow as shit. But if I ran with knife hands, I felt faster.
All the tricks to give you
I was
a leg up.
Hold on,
I don't know if the Sandlot started it. I just know that it was used there, and it had a profound influence on my perception of running style.
Okay, I had to look up some release dates. Sandlot was 93. You know where I think maybe it started? Terminator 2, which was 91.
I was just thinking Terminator.
The T-1000 had the knife hands, but he was a fucking robot, so he didn't need it anyway.
Yeah, he was a lick. How come he never just turned his legs into like
Pistons,
tractor treads and like fucking
he
zoomed?
Well, he couldn't do anything with moving parts. Remember?
Oh,
that was one of the rules.
Forgot that.
Could he turn into a cheetah?
But he could make his legs like 100 feet long, so each stride. You know,
Is there
could have
a
become a
conservation of
centaur.
mass with him? Like, would they be really long but really skinny legs?
He's like Odo. Some of him was in subspace.
There it is.
yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was that. Maybe someone saw him do that, thought that looks cool and threatening, and then it just turned into code for Fast Run.
Yeah, it's got to be it.
So, anything else on this episode?
You know, so they didn't show us the moving nacelles at all of the Spaceball one.
No,
remember we
true.
saw those last time we saw it. The nacelles moved.
Yeah.
It made me think that that's another technology that we see later in Star Trek in Voyager, right? Because Voyager had the nacelles that flapped.
Yeah. Though in theory, theirs at least was supposedly something to do with the warp field, as opposed to just being.
Yeah, didn't we?
Whatever.
Did we headcanon, or is it established canon that has something to do with the force of nature problem?
I think that was like fanon at the time that has been generally just kind of accepted.
Okay.
Fanon.
It's definitely never said in the show.
Because
Anyway,
Voyager definitely did not stay under Warp 5.
No. No. It stayed under the command of Catherine Janeway, who
Perfect.
we're recasting this week.
Whoa.
As we continue our Star Trek recast, we're, I guess, on our penultimate one.
Penis Ultimate.
Because we are
I
on...
mean, for now. In future, we should come back and do the other series as we cover them. That'd be fun.
Maybe, yeah. It'll be a little weird because they're still so recent. Who would like to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Because I'm actually pretty happy with this list. So I'm going to subtitle this list Bad Bitches.
Ooh,
because,
here for
well, no, they're not... I think an argument could be made for any one of these people as a bad bitch, but we'll see. But we're starting out strong with a certified bad bitch, Sigourney Weaver.
Oh my God!
As Captain Catherine Janeway.
Heckin' yes! Why didn't I even think of her?
Love that.
So yes, Sigourney Weaver, who you remember played Ripley in Alien, and Gwen DeMarco in Galaxy Quest, and Dana Barrett in that, and every movie she's in.
She had one job, it was stupid, but she was going to do it.
She certainly was. But yeah, so she's my Captain Janeway. Now, I don't know about bad bitch energy here, but I went with Isai Morales for Chakotay. If you're not familiar with him, he's kind of a character actor, but he was in a show called Caprica, which was a Battlestar Galactica spin-off series.
I've heard of it.
Highly middling.
It's all right. I think it had potential. It was very of its time, which was like, you know, early 10s or late aughts. Anyway, but he played to give background on his character, he played this civil rights attorney kind of guy who's but he's like he gets mixed up with like the mob and stuff, so he kind of has a similar backstory in that like he's a principled moral man, but he gets kind of tied up in some bad stuff.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know. I thought he fits, and he's I don't know his ethnicity, but I think he fits the mold for Chakotay.
Yeah.
For Tuvok, I went with Chad L. Coleman.
Good one.
He plays Fred Johnson on the series The Expanse. Kind of a similar guy, not a Vulcan obviously, but more of a stoic man.
He's
but
on the Orville too. Who's he on the Orville?
Yeah, he plays Clyden on the Orville.
Those are two very different shows.
This
characters.
guy, Chad L. Coleman, I think, is one of the most underrated actors of our time because he has played a huge variety of characters in like shows that are. So he plays Fred Johnson on The Expanse, who's like this military leader. He plays
very nuanced.
Clyden on Orville. Which is like, I don't even know how to describe. I mean, he's an asshole. He plays an asshole, but like in a interesting way. I really like him on that show. He appears in various episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia as just like a street tough kind of guy, I guess.
Okay.
Sort of like, I don't know. The only way to say it is a scary black man. Like that's the only way to describe the character.
But he's friends with the gang, which is.
But he's friends with the gang, and like he's the guy that they call in when they need like a black person in their company. because they need that for reasons.
Sure.
Which, if you watch the show,
it's very
you're
Always
like,
Sunny. Yeah,
it's very Always Sunny. It's very problematic, but Chad L. Coleman does a great job with it. But the place I first saw him was he had a recurring character on The Wire, where he played like this reformed gang member who was just like really great character, really great actor.
Yeah, he's really good at playing characters with like layers to them. Like even
Absolutely.
Clyde in the Orville has these interesting layers, even though he is mostly asshole.
And that's why I think he'd be a great Tuvok.
Yeah, a good Vulcan has layers, so.
Yeah. So for B'Elanna Torres, I struggled with B'Elanna for a bit, and then I thought, who better to play B'Elanna Torres than an actual Torres?
Hey!
Gina Torres, to be clear, who played Zoe on Firefly.
Didn't
I don't know what else
cast her
she's
in
done.
Something?
You did. I think it was Uhura.
Yes.
Yeah, and she is definitely a bad bitch.
Definitely more of a B'Elanna than a Uhura, for sure.
I was trying to find a good quality picture of her like holding a massive gun or something, because that seems like a B'Elanna thing. But this one, this image worked. So yeah, bad bitch, Gina Torres. Speaking of bad bitches, this might be really on the nose. I apologize. So my Tom Paris, I chose Katie Sackhoff, who played
is that
Starbuck.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Yep, Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica. She also plays Bo-Katan on The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
You might have seen her from. But yeah, no, she's dope as fuck. Like the character of Kara Thrace or Starbuck. Kara Thrace is her name. Starbuck's just her call sign.
Call signal.
But yeah, like she's basically Tom Paris on that show. She's a troublemaker. I mean, she smokes and drinks a lot, which we don't know if Tom Paris does that. At least they don't show us. But I feel like they would really get along. They'd be good friends.
Yeah, they'd be bros.
People have never really smoked on Star Trek by and large, but in 60s Trek, they drank like fishes. In 60s Trek, Tom would have been a big liquor guy.
No, and when they go back to the 19 in that episode where Quark and Rom and Nog wind up in the past.
Yeah.
People are smoking there. I mean, they're not Star Trek.
Well, that's what I mean, though.
They're regular people.
Yeah, in the future they don't smoke.
Yeah.
But in the past, yeah.
Well, it's very bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was thinking, okay, Harry Kim, who's a bad bitch, who play Harry Kim, and who would have a great friendship with our Tom Paris. So I went with Grace Park, actual Korean Grace Park, or Korean American, but yes, Sharon, who plays Sharon Valeri, or Boomer on Battlestar Galactica, who is a wingmate of Starbucks. So yeah, I think she'd play a great Harry Kim. She's actually not the strongest actor, I would say.
She was in a cult for a while, right?
And she was she? I know the one that played Kaylee was in a cult for a while. She might have been too. I think she might have been too. Yeah, in that Nexium thing.
It sounds like she got out, and good for her.
Yeah, I think she might have been on like Hawaii 5-0 or something too. Later, anyway,
possible.
She's all right, but she's good, and you don't have to be an amazing actor to play Harry Kim.
Whoa.
No, I mean, no. Garrett Wong did an amazing job, but I'm saying, as far as the character goes, I think they didn't do it.
Give him a lot to have to.
Yeah.
This would be easy for Grace Park, I think.
Yeah, and she's a bad bitch, so it works. Speaking of bad bitches, Caitlin, this one's for you.
Ooh.
Hey.
For the Doctor, I'm casting Larry fucking David. Bad bitch, Larry David.
Asshole.
Oh my god.
Like
bald asshole, nice.
Bald asshole, Larry David is my bad bitch playing the Doctor.
I love that.
That's more bitchy than bitch.
It especially works for early Doctor, who is just an asshole.
Who's the worst?
Larry David's Doctor would delete Andy Dick's EMH in Ship in a Bottle in exactly 3 seconds.
And then the Curb theme would play. Boom, boom, boom.
Yes.
Gone.
I love it.
That's hilarious.
Neelix. All right. Yeah, this is somewhat bad bitchy, I guess. I don't know. Hard to say. But for my Neelix, I went with Nathan Lane.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Who looks exactly like Neelix, so it works.
Oh, really? Timon, the Lion King. That's great, Jake.
I thought using Timon as the character would help, but
I think that's a Neelixy. Timon is a Neelixy character.
Exactly. No, totally Neelixy.
Yeah, I hope y'all are following this over on the Tumblr to see all the screen grabs they got to.
Oh my god,
delightful.
Timon.
But he's been in a number of things, famously the Birdcage. Yep. And
Only Murders in the Building.
Yep. Yeah, where he plays very against his type, I would say, in that show.
And actually, didn't he just play Gomez Addams in the stage version of the Addams Family?
He might have.
I think he may have.
He originated the stage version of Max Bialystock.
Right, from the producers.
And was then in the film adaptation.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
He's a great actor, and I think... I couldn't, when I saw this picture, I'm like, my God, he is Neelix.
Yeah. Same kind of grin.
Nathan Lane was like the start of my falling in love with extremely gay actors and being like, no, he's it's fine. We have a future together.
All right. So for Kes, I went with Karen Gillan from Doctor Who.
I love Karen Gillan.
Somehow I found this picture of her with Kes hair. Because usually she has long hair.
She played what's her name, Nebula.
Yeah, because she did actually shave her head for Nebula.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Well, because if you have the option to either shave your head or have all your shit under a disgustingly hot bald cap for 16 hours a day, I mean, if I were her, that would be my choice too.
I think she looks all right with the short hair.
She looks cute as fuck. Karen Gillan can do no wrong.
Yeah.
That's the thing. She's I was trying to go for someone of more like the manic pixie dream girl trope for Kes, which would be very tropey. But I felt like I wanted to elevate it a little bit because I feel like Kes elevates that trope in some ways because while she is a manic pixie dream girl in a lot of ways, she's also like kind of a bad bitch.
Yeah, she's got depth.
And I feel that way about Karen Gillan as well.
I also like the idea that they let her keep her accent, so Kes would be Scottish.
Nice. Scottish.
Also, what's funny is she is so much taller than Nathan Lane.
Who?
Oh, Karen really?
Wait, how tall is Nathan Lane? And right, Karen Gillan's 5'11" or some shit, isn't she?
Really, yeah, that thing is you don't realize Matt Smith is very tall, so she's shorter than him by a little bit, but he's so tall you don't realize how fucking tall she is. She's 5'10" or 5'11", and I just looked at Nathan Lane's 5'5".
Oh, bless him.
So, very different dynamic.
Short king.
Yep.
All right. And that brings us to our final bad bitch. The baddest bitch of all. 7 of 9. And the bad bitch that's playing my 7 of 9?
Nathan Lane.
Lee Pace.
Oh my god.
Damn Lee Pace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of falling in love with gay men.
Bro, I had such a huge crush on Lee Pace.
Yes, Lee Pace, who is wearing this leather daddy outfit that I found.
Has he played any animated characters that you could refer to? Because
I don't know. Has he?
Actually, I don't know. He was probably in Sausage Party. Everybody was in Sausage Party, it feels like. But he was in Pushing Daisies.
He was in Pushing Daisies. Yeah, the one I'm citing here is a more recent. He plays Brother Day on the
he's a very fun Brother Day.
Yeah, it's a great.
He was my Spock.
Yeah, and he was Chris's Spock. And while I do think Lee Pace would play a fantastic Vulcan, especially after his maybe regrettable appearance in that. Not regrettable appearance, his appearance in that regrettable movie, The Hobbit.
The Hobbit, yeah.
He's good in it.
Elf. He was so
he's great.
Beautiful.
No, he's fantastic in an otherwise terrible film.
No, let's be fair. There was also the scene where the dwarves throw the plates around and sing the song was also perfect.
And let's be honest, 3 terrible films.
Those movies, right? Those movies are unfortunately super well cast bad film. So many of the choices are great,
right?
But then for casting, but the films themselves are just not good.
And up to the point where Martin Freeman's like, I'm going on an adventure. Yeah, everything's great, and then it turns to garbage. So the first 45, well, actually, it feels like 45 minutes. It's probably 8.5 hours.
No, I think it is 45 minutes.
Yeah, the first 45 minutes of The Hobbit are perfect, and everything after that is nonsense.
Also, apparently, he has done exactly 2 voice acting gigs.
One of them was in Sausage Party?
No.
Damn it.
The dub of Weathering with You, which I have not seen, but it's some anime film that got a lot of awards, very serious awards attention stuff. And he was in an episode of Robot Chicken as Heinrich Himmler.
Funny.
Oh my god.
Okay. Interesting.
Lee Pace, Heimlich Himmler, Robot Chicken.
Also, nice. It just occurred to me, you've cast 2 Guardians of the Galaxy actors.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because he played
Ronan the Accuser.
Yeah, in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Ronan the fucking sexy.
Yeah, and he's also a lead on *Halt and Catch Fire*, which was an AMC show from a few years ago. Very good show. I highly recommend it.
Yep,
that's my list.
Great actor, should be in more things. Love it. All right, who's next?
I can go if nobody else wants to go.
All right.
I didn't fade in, so
that's all right.
I know that first is Janeway. And I've been watching a lot of Severance lately, so I decided on Patricia Arquette.
I like it.
Excellent choice.
Not necessarily today's Patricia Arquette, but man, I didn't really know anything about her as an actress until I started watching Severance. She's terrifying. I feel like she could really play the intense Janeway well, and I believe that she would kill you for a cup of coffee. So anyway, and I have a new appreciation of her, so I wanted to get her in here.
There's a really early film of hers with Christian Slater's True Romance.
I've heard of that. It's supposed to be good.
It's written by Tarantino, not directed by Tarantino.
Yeah, I was gonna say isn't that the one where Gary Oldman plays a regrettable? It's okay. Gary Oldman says he was playing a black character. Gary Oldman claims that character was black. I assumed that character was a white person that thought he was black.
No, that's
but Gary
definitely
Oldman's
what it is.
he's a black character.
That's unfortunate.
Was Gary Oldman still drinking a lot at the time? Maybe
yes.
I don't know.
Maybe, but it's a good movie. There's some like very problematic aspects of that movie. There's a really extremely problematic scene in that film, but it's also like kind of a fantastic scene in a lot of ways. But anyway, I recommend that film, True Romance.
I feel like these recastings have been the best free advertisement for both The Expanse and Severance, because we just keep using people from those.
Right.
I wanted to find a place for Adam Scott, but I haven't yet. Someday. Chakotay. So, one of the worst things about Voyager is that Chakotay, first, I mean, the worst thing isn't that he's not indigenous, but the way that they treat his indigenous character is fucking horrible. So I got a real indigenous actor, Dallas Goldtooth, who, if you haven't seen Reservation Dogs, you should. He plays this kind of like, I'm going to say spirit guide, because I think that's actually kind of what the character is. Like, I'm not trying to appropriate, but one of the leads like sees him and he kind of offers him like direction, but he's not really there. He's like a figment. So anyway, he's often like serious, but also like there's an aspect of comedy to him. I don't know. I just really like his acting, and I really wanted to find an actor who was actually indigenous. And anyway, this is who I chose.
Nice.
I really like him. And again, Reservation Dogs is super good.
I've heard amazing things about it.
Yeah,
I should check
it's on my list.
Oh, it's wicked. Definitely watch it. Watch Severance first, but then watch Reservation Dogs.
We're caught up on Severance. Severance is amazing.
I love Severance. I'm still one episode behind.
Ooh, the next one is so good.
I can't wait. Who's next here? Tuvok.
Tuvok is next.
Finally remember to do a little gender bending. And I decided to cast Samira Wiley. Probably should have checked how to say her name. My bad, sorry. She played Poussey in Orange is the New Black.
Oh, okay, yes.
There's a lot. She's great. I think that she could manage the intensity. I also think that she would probably do a good, like, sardonic, like, kind of that a little bit of wry humor where necessary.
Yeah. I haven't seen a ton of that show, but the episodes I have seen, she's great in.
She's wonderful. Yeah, I love her. Okay, this next one is probably going to surprise everybody. It surprised me, because when you think about badass women like B'Elanna Torres, your first thought is probably not Jennifer Lopez. But this is specifically Jennifer Lopez from the film Enough, where she, like, I don't remember if it's like an ex-husband or an ex-boyfriend or whatever. She's like abused horribly by an ex-romantic partner, and she decides to get fucking badass to get revenge. And honestly, it's not a great movie, but I remember being struck by the fact that not only was Jennifer Lopez totally badass, but that, like, it was, everything about it was believable. Like, it felt right. And I thought, well, also, you know, she happens to be Latinx, which I guess the character doesn't have to be, but I thought I didn't want to whitewash. And anyway, she's who I thought of. Probably, you know, whatever.
Yeah, no, I like it. I could see Jennifer Lopez as a badass.
Yeah, no, and she did like
picture.
a lot of like kickboxing, like hand-to-hand combat shit in that movie. It was amazing. So anyway.
And like she could definitely bring her rom-com chops to the love triangle episode.
Truth. Aww. Yeah. Yep. This one's something for the ladies.
Oh
boy.
Did it again.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep doing it. I love Connor Trinneer. I want him to be in more things. I feel like Paris would be less insufferable if he was Connor Trinneer. That's all.
I did not know there were 2 N's in his surname.
Yeah, there might not be. I grabbed it from the internet. It could be wrong. Or this could be his actual official headshot, and that's really how it's spelled. I have no idea.
Yeah, I just never paid attention.
But yeah, both beautiful men, both beautiful blue eyes.
2 N's.
Love Connor Trinneer and just want him more. Look at this little bit of chest hair that he's showing. What a naughty boy.
He's a good man.
Anyway, I really loved Trip. Trip deserved a better series.
Yeah, great
Paris
choice.
Trip is kind of Paris. Paris is kind of Trip. We get the hot alien romance situation still and weird, just weird dynamics. I don't know. It works for me. I apparently went all out with gender bending this week. So Harry Kim, Asian American actor, Asian American actress, Natalie Dew. Well, actually, she's actually not Asian American. She's Asian English. She was I recently started listening to the Bend It Like Beckham soundtrack again, the musical, not the film.
Oh, okay.
So I saw it while I was in England. This is the 10-year anniversary of that trip, which makes me so sad. But I saw the Bend It Like Beckham musical when I was in England. Natalie Dew was the lead actress, and I was just really impressed by her. I have no better reason. I just didn't want to be like, and this is John Cho, as I don't know, it just feels like,
Hey, some of us
I couldn't think of anybody else that wouldn't just feel like a cop-out of being like, well, I found this talented actor that I don't feel strongly about. I really like her. I think she's good. And again, Harry Kim doesn't really have a ton happening necessarily. So yeah, I'm sure she'd do great. She was great in the musical. So This is the Doctor. I think you'll find it's actually the same person. I don't think I've changed anything, but I thought Red Foreman would be fun. I've had a new appreciation of Red Foreman.
What the hell's his actual name?
That's his name, isn't it?
No, that's his character from
that's
from
right.
that
That's the 70s show. I always forget.
Smith.
What is his real name? I have no idea.
Kurtwood Smith.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, he's in... I've seen... what was I watching recently that he was in? Patriot, I want to say. He's in that.
The Mel Gibson picture?
No. There's a show called Patriot, I think. I think it's called Patriot. Anyway, he's really good in it. Just look at that face.
Yeah.
That's resting...
Doctor face?
Doctor face, yeah.
I really
EMH face, that's what I was trying to say.
I really like the idea that if they did Year of Hell, he would still be the same character in that as well, since him and the Doctor never meet. And they, when Tom and Chakotay meet him, they can be like, you look...
I like, Caitlin, that we're in agreement here that baldness is part of the Doctor's character.
Oh, yeah. No, we're not giving him hair. It's a bald asshole. We don't... bald asshole, that is a hate crime. Officer, you, with all due respect, you have chosen to shave your head. You are not actually bald. Oh, my God. Anyway, Larry David as fucking the Doctor is amazing. But anyway, Red Foreman, what's his real name?
Kurtwood
Smith.
Yeah, that. Whatever. He's the Doctor. It's fine. He'll always be making this face. It's perfect. Okay. Neelix. I know. I thought, who in the acting world do I love so much that I would love them even if they were being a jealous fruit bat to their obscenely too young girlfriend in a weird, gross way? And the only person that is the answer is John Candy.
Aww.
John Candy can literally do nothing wrong. And honestly, I'm thinking mostly of of the what the fuck?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
No. No. Neelix. I'm thinking mostly of his what the fuck does he call himself? The whatever officer? No.
Morale.
That's it. I was thinking mostly of John Candy as morale officer.
Like that.
That scene in Uncle Buck where he makes gigantic pancakes. In Neelix in the mess making gigantic pancakes. But banana pancakes for B'Elanna, gigantic, huge.
He was.
Well, and I feel too, though, speaking of Planes, Trains, he has that scene with Tuvok where he's like, "You're always such a dick to me," which is basically the equivalent of "My wife likes me, I like me."
Yeah, but yeah, I love John Candy. I wish he was still around. I feel like he would be a great Neelix, and I could never stay mad at him. Look at that face.
Yeah.
I think this actually, I think, might even be a shot from Uncle Buck, because this looks like Uncle Buck stuff.
Yeah, he just doesn't have a little hat on.
Anyway, it angers a lot of people, this hat, just the sight of it. Anyway, so yeah, John Candy, I love you. And who will be his manic pixie dream girl friend? Kristen Bell.
Oh yeah,
sure. That's a good punt.
I had that thought too. I love it.
She's short, she's blonde, she's adorable. She's a fucking huge badass in Veronica Mars.
I could see her in the episode where she's possessed by Tyrion.
I was just thinking that.
Like, I want to see her in that episode.
Yep.
With her Veronica Mars taser. But yeah, anyway, I love Kristen Bell, and she should be in everything. So, but I mean, again, cute, short, blonde. Those were check. But also huge badass, and I just love her. And finally, Jake, we were on a similar.
Yay!
Oh, I love it.
The other head badass on the ship, of course, being 7 of 9, Sigourney Weaver, and not just Sigourney Weaver, but Sigourney Weaver as Ripley from Aliens.
Yep.
I love it.
Sure.
Heckin' accurate.
Yeah, I don't know. She would be amazing.
Love that idea.
I said what I said.
Yeah,
these are my choices.
Good call.
I love it. Excellent.
Okay, we're gonna do my fantasy cast. I think some of these are obvious. Some of these are just me being me.
Yay.
My Janeway is obvious because, who's a bitch that leads very headstrongly? Fucking Amy Poehler.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
I love her in Parks and Rec. I love her in fucking everything just because, she can handle a role and she can make it look like she's in charge while secretly being like, oh, Jesus Christ, everything is on fire. So love her. I wanted Amy Poehler somewhere in one of my casts, so I found a place for her right here.
Sure.
Love it.
My Chakotay, I don't know how familiar you guys are going to be, but my basic for Chakotay is, could I just listen to him read the phone book for a fucking year and still be into it?
Fair.
And I picked Common.
Okay.
Interesting.
I can't even tell why, other than I love his voice so much, and he has this interesting intensity. I know him from Silo, which you guys are definitely watching, and if you're not, I told you to. But he's got this very cool presence, and I feel like he could bring all kinds of layers to a Chakotay role, who's just kind of always cool.
As long as in the first episode when they join the ship, he insists that he gets to wear his leather jacket as his uniform.
That's
fair.
In Silo, he only walks around in a leather jacket. It's kind of funny because they're in this post-apocalyptic realm where it's why would they have leather? I mean, I guess they have beef, maybe. I don't know.
He found it in a loot crate while going through the post-apocalypse.
They live in a silo. They
Fallout.
don't have loot crates.
Yeah. It's a nice jacket, though.
Oh, yeah, and he's excellent. I like him an awful lot. My Tuvok, who would bring, very interesting, Vulcan energy? Because I think we talk about an awful lot whenever we talk about the Vulcan characters, is who can do the Vulcan nuance? Who will go the extra fucking mile for any role that they're in? And I thought Jason Momoa.
Oh.
Interesting.
I thought about Jason Momoa for the Voyager cast. I don't remember for whom, but I was also thinking Jason Momoa.
Yeah, originally I had him as my Torres, but then when I just couldn't find a Tuvok, and I was like, wait a minute. He is such a massive nerd in every way possible that I think he would figure out the Vulcan nuance and make it so interesting, especially as security chief.
I'd love to see him be in a role where he's not allowed to be just hugely exuberant. It would be interesting.
Yeah,
he plays an interesting on Stargate Atlantis. He plays an interesting character.
I've seen a lot of Atlantis.
Yeah, he's still he's a heavy as he often is.
Yeah.
But I think he's more reserved than his normal sort of over the top self. And also in Game of Thrones, he was quite stoic.
That's true. That's true. I kind of. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that energy. Somehow.
Yeah, and I just feel just the way the kind of person he is, he would go all at this role.
Yeah.
So I like that idea for Tuvok. Now, like I said, originally I had my Torres and Tuvok flip-flopped for a while, but then I flipped it back to this way because I thought, Torres is kind of always simmering under the surface in a way that I didn't think quite fit with Jason Momoa, and more fit with Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh,
interesting.
Who always looks like she's about to like boil, but always like right there on the surface. She could bring some really interesting like emotion to the Torres character. I love her in, oh god, who did she play? Maz Kanata?
Yep.
In Star Wars's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, she's very interesting.
She was in Black Panther,
voice.
right?
I haven't seen it.
I'm making that up.
I'm trying to remember, like, her breakout role, I thought was
it 12
she was in 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah, she's excellent in that, too.
And she's great in that.
I can definitely see how you would have thought of her for Tuvok as well, though.
Yeah, just because they have, like, such interesting ways that they show their emotion that I thought it could flip-flop back again. Who knows? But this is the way I landed for today.
You're right, she was.
Okay, so my Paris is very obvious. It's so obvious that Jake has already said it, and that is Katie Sackhoff.
Hey!
And I love that in the photo I found of her, she's doing the same pose.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, I don't know where you found it because I was looking for a photo like that, but good choice.
I used
and
Edge.
I like that the dog tags kind of like mirror the badge too. Like everything about this is perfect.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, she just brings like badass energy wherever she goes, but also kind of that cocky energy, which I think of as Paris having.
Big time.
So I like that.
I don't know her as well as you do because I've only seen a few episodes of Battlestar, but yeah, for sure.
Oh man, we gotta get you back up on Battlestar because that's a lot of fun. My Kim would make also a great friend for Paris. I can really see this person hitting it off with Katie Sackhoff. And who's just a good friend and supports their friends whenever you see them, and that's Selena Gomez.
Oh, I love Selena Gomez.
She's amazing.
Yeah, I love the idea of her like elevating the Kim character, but also I want to see her dynamics with the rest of my cast because I feel like she also elevates people around her in an interesting way.
She's so great in Only Murders in the Building.
So
like
great.
I remember when we first heard like, all right, Steve Martin, all right, awesome, Martin Short, oh great, Selena Gomez, huh?
You fucking liar! You hated Martin Short at the time.
How?
Well,
Jiminy Glick?
Yourself.
Let me put it a different way. What I mean is Martin Short and Steve Martin together makes sense.
Yes.
But then when you throw in Selena Gomez, but yeah, you're right. I wasn't like a huge... Martin Short has a Dana Carvey quality to him wherein, and a little bit of a Robin Williams thing as well, where they kind of just go way too far sometimes, and it's too much.
The way you just said way too far was very Jiminy Glick.
It was, I heard.
I am Jiminy Glick.
Too far.
I noticed that sometimes you go a bit too far in your acting. Why would you... But I do love Jiminy Glick. Anyway, but the point is, I think neither of us was really sure what to expect about Selena Gomez, and then she was fucking outrageously awesome.
Yeah,
so
she was definitely like a breakout star.
I love this pick.
Oh yeah, I love that coat so much. Yeah, she's great.
Oh no, I meant your pick for Harry Kim, but yes, the picture is also beautiful. Also, she's become my favorite person to fucking defend online because every fucking morbidly obese basement dwelling fucking neckbeard thinks they on the internet is like, she was hot before she got fat.
What the fuck?
And it's like,
she's always
correction.
Hot.
She's always hot, yeah. And also, like, I don't know, people's weight fluctuate for a lot of different reasons, and everyone just needs to shut the fuck up about it. Like, let's
I think
just
she's
all
also
agree
talked
that we're
about
not
like
doing that.
she's talked about it. There's like a medical condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but men, like, remember when Lady Gaga or whatever did the Super Bowl and people were like, oh, what's up with that bulge in her stomach? And it was like, that's where her organs live, you fucking asshole.
Yeah,
That's what's up with that bulge in her stomach. Like, everyone has something to say about her.
Fuck up about other people's bodies.
That's it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Everyone shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Unless what you have to say is nice and not creepy, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Anyway, great choice.
Thank you. My EMH, I didn't go bald, so I'm sorry, guys.
I did not
go bald. And I was gonna save this person for Enterprise next week, but once I thought for Doctor, it just fits so well and so interestingly, because it's someone who, like, has, like, that very interesting, like, comic delivery and sense of humor, but also has the gravitas. And that's Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh my god.
Oh, I love it. That's great.
I was going to save him because he would also be the perfect read, but then it was too perfect. Oh. And I thought to myself, no, EMH, because he's got the cocky swagger. I'm going to add another show to you guys. You have to watch this list, and that's Miracle Workers, where he is so funny. List. Like, I did not realize how fucking hilarious Daniel Radcliffe is until I watched Miracle Workers, and he's, like, excellent.
I love that he basically just made his money off Harry Potter and now just does every weird thing he can.
Yeah, he was in the Weird Al documentary, which is hilarious.
Yep.
Also, though, like, J.K. Rowling has decided that she, like, hates him, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson. Good. Because they've been like, wow, she's a turfy piece of shit. So let's, like, honestly, anything Daniel Radcliffe does, go out there and watch it and support it. Like, just do it, because fuck that bitch.
Yeah, and he's got such a great, like, comic delivery, which I did not expect. So good on him. I like him.
Yeah.
My Neelix is where I struggled the fucking most because, like, Ethan Phillips brings such the perfect energy to the role that it's hard to emulate. And that's he has, like, a very specific weird, but also has that, like, heartwarming nature about him that I just... Yep. I wanted Brad Dourif, but he's the wrong kind of weird. I wanted Charlie Day, but he's the wrong kind of weird.
Yeah.
I wanted Henry Winkler, but he's the wrong kind of wholesome. I was thinking Bob Odenkirk, I was thinking Amber Ruffin, I was thinking Wanda Sykes, and then finally, literally yesterday, it clicked.
Wanda Sykes!
Okay, sorry, that's... All right. I almost said Wanda Sykes, but then the direction that I did end up going is Jennifer Coolidge.
Oh,
interesting.
That's Stifler's mom.
Yeah, I figure someone who starts off and you think is annoying, but then when you start seeing more of them, you realize, no, you're actually great.
She's in White Lotus, right?
Say again? Yeah, she's in White Lotus.
Okay.
She won an award for it, too.
Like, and maybe this is where you know her most from, Ames, is from, like, the Christopher Guest films.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. She's one of his ensemble.
Yeah, she's in a lot of those, and she's always got that Neelix-y weirdness, which ended up being, like, the kind that I gravitated towards and said, yes, that is the correct kind of weirdness. So I would
if you haven't seen
excited.
it, Best in Show, watch it.
Oh my god,
what a great movie.
One of my favorite movies.
Have you seen that, Chris?
Somehow no.
Oh my god, definitely.
Oh, it's so good. It's so
funny.
funny.
I have somehow not seen many of his films. I do not know how.
Fun.
I'm sure I'd love them.
You would. And actually, it's Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy are in there too.
Yeah, they're great.
I don't usually like Eugene Levy.
Parker Posey.
Love him in that. That's a great movie.
Chris O'Dowd is in some of the more recent ones, and he's very good.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, I think you would love the Christopher Guest movies. I'm surprised you haven't watched them.
Oh, Fred Willard, too. Oh,
yes,
Fred.
I was just trying to remember Fred Willard.
Yeah, he's in a lot of those, I know. He's part of that.
He's one of the commentators in that film, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's so perfect.
Hilarious.
I've not seen it, but I've seen the trailer.
Definitely see it. It's funny.
I will.
Yay.
Good.
Yeah, definitely do it. Meanwhile, moving on, the other reason I kind of picked Jennifer Coolidge is because I wanted that Neelix with my Kess, and none of my other Neelixes would have worked with my Kess, because, you know, like Caitlin said, who's a blonde cutie who also, like, brings a certain, like, depth to the role. And my thought was young Dave Foley.
I love Dave Foley.
I love it.
That's an amazing idea.
Also, there's an episode where in Kids in the Hall where he actually looks a lot like Kess. They put him in a Kess wig. And I was like, wow, Dave Foley is a very comely young lady.
Dave Foley is just a cutie pie, especially in news radio when he's also he's more the ingenue character than most males get to play.
Yeah.
In that he's just this innocent, like, what did I just walk into kind of character. And I really enjoyed him in news radio, but I especially enjoy him in Kids in the Hall because that way we also know he can really pull off a bad wig.
Yeah, that's true.
I watched that show as a kid, and I don't remember a lot of it. But for some reason, one thing I will never forget is the episode where everyone finds out he's Canadian. And they're like, why didn't you ever mention it? He's like, well, because I got used to keeping it a secret when I was a kid, because I was afraid if people found I was Canadian, they'd think I was a spy.
Oh my god. So cute. That's adorable.
Feels
like something a child might think, even though it makes no sense.
Cute. Love Dave Foley. Moving on, finally, my 7 was my easiest pick of all of the fantasy cast so far. Because who's a fucking heartthrob with acting chops? Adam Driver.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah, I could see that.
I could definitely see him being an ex-Borg and, like, reacclimating to society and being so hot about it. And he's, like, that interesting kind of hot. Like, that's what I appreciate about Adam Driver.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's objectively weird looking.
Yeah, and yet you're still like, I want to watch you in everything you do.
I like that.
Love that. Love that for him. That just leaves Chris.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
My cast. So, it's a really bad episode of Voyager? The one with the flying giant virus or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was really cool when she was clearly invoking Ripley.
Yay!
Nice.
Whoa.
Excellent choice. I agree with this choice.
Do you really, Jake? Interesting.
That gives us three Sigourney Weavers.
I almost said 3 Ripleys.
Yeah, Ripley's, yeah.
3 Sigourneys, yeah. Damn.
Chakotay. Now, this guy, you might not know what I'm talking about. He's a very well-respected actor. He's literally, been given, an award as being he was given an honorary Oscar as one of the greatest actors of the 20th century. His name is Wes Studi, and I went with him because I love him in Mystery Men, where he plays the Sphinx, who is the wise mentor character who brings the team together and teaches them to be competent superheroes. And, I feel like he could, kind of be the sort of... He could bring that Chakotay energy of, let's just sit and talk and be cool. But yes, I don't know him from any of his renowned works. I know him from a goofy 90s indie comedy.
Nice.
Tuvok. I legitimately forgot my Tuvok had been in Star Trek before because of how badly he was utilized.
Oh, no.
But I think he would do great as Tuvok, doing that, sublimated emotion... Idris Elba.
Oh, yeah.
How did you forget Idris Elba was in a Star Trek?
Because he's under makeup the whole time, barely does anything of use. Literally, I picked him, put him there, I was like, man, he'd be great in Star Trek. Wait a minute.
Yeah, he could rock a Vulcan, too, I agree.
He could.
I am somewhat surprised nobody chose Tony Todd.
Tony Todd. Oh, from The Visitor.
Because I was seriously considering Tony Todd. I was like, oh, that's such the obvious choice, but...
I could see that, though, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm just, I
always forget about Tony Todd. I think partly because until my most recent rewatch, I really didn't like The Visitor that much.
Wow.
What?
Sacrilege.
I didn't think it was bad. I was just kind of like, I don't really care.
Well, he's also Kern, though.
Yes, he is.
Well, yeah, but...
And the Candyman. Spooky.
And the Candyman. The Candyman
And he's in a bunch of the Final Destination movies.
True.
Tony Todd's just fantastic.
Yeah, he
he is. So for my Torres,
You cast Tony Todd?
No, I cast Gina Torres.
I agree with this message.
Jake and Chris are the same person this week.
I did not go looking for a photo of her with a gun, but did find one.
Yay,
Nice.
Good job. Extra points.
I did almost
Humble brag.
I did almost back off. I was like, she already played a character who's fucking a pilot. But I was like, that's fine.
I thought of her for the same reason, actually, and I didn't go with it.
Well, see, that's I thought of it afterwards. Like, oh, should I? That's like, no, never mind. Speaking of the pilot, young Carrie Yules.
Oh,
Wow.
Elvis.
Yeah,
as you
90s
wish.
Carrie. He's got that sort of especially I was thinking of his some of his other roles, like his Robin Hood and the cameraman from Shadow of the... Is it Shadow of the Vampire or Shadow of the Bat? Damn it. It's this really great, weird indie film, which is a fictionalized account of the making of the old Nosferatu, where the director hires an actual vampire to play the vampire, and it all kind of spirals out of control.
Oh, no.
Great movie.
Funny.
But he has this amazing scene in it where they bring him in via biplane. And Carrie Yules just, as the plane lands, before it's fully stopped, strides off the wing, lands and keeps walking without missing a beat. It's one of the I think it was one of the first times where I was like, oh my God, I want that man to do things to me.
Oh.
How was it pronounced? I always thought it was pronounced Elvis.
I do not know. I've heard both, so I went with Yules because it's probably the weird one. It's probably Welsh.
I think, Wikipedia is telling me it's Elvis.
Oh, it is? Okay, Elvis then. Anyway, yeah, he's pretty, he can do cocky, he can do gentle.
He can do any one of us anytime he wants.
Yes. For my Harry Kim, not gonna lie, this guy came to me because I literally saw him in a movie yesterday and I thought, ooh, he's fun. Steven Yeun.
From
Walking Dead.
Yeah, Walking Dead.
Admittedly, I have
Walking
not
Dead.
seen, but he's a great actor. I really enjoyed him in Mickey 17.
I don't think I've seen him in anything, but he's very handsome.
He is very handsome.
In so much. So, the Doctor, I actually stole an idea from Ames.
Whoa. Yay!
Jane Lynch.
Oh, that's
She'd be
interesting.
Well,
She would be
another
fantastic.
best in show actor.
And I say I stole it from you because a bit of behind baseball or whatever, inside
Insider.
baseball.
Yeah. Inside
The most recent episode I edited was our TNG recast one, And I said in that, because Ames chose Jane Lynch for a part, I was like, I've been trying to find a place for Jane Lynch.
She's my Picard.
And immediately I was like, wait a minute, I still need the Doctor.
I love that.
And she'd be great.
But would she be bald?
Yes.
If she wants, sure.
I could see it.
Neelix. I thought when I was thinking about Neelix, I was having trouble. Then when I was actually looking at the photos, I looked at this face and I immediately got it. Robin Williams.
Oh, that's cute.
Excellent.
That's pretty good.
That goes with my Nathan Lane.
Yeah, so I was thinking, it's his husband. But I was like, he just had this twinkle in his eyes that made me think of the moments when Robin Williams would have a twinkle in his eyes. And I was like, fuck, that works.
I love him in that suit also. What a great suit.
Very early 90s. But I thought, that's kind of the closest we'll get to him in a bad Neelix suit.
Is that because you can see his shirt cuff, or does his suit have, like, elastic cuffs?
No, I think it's a shirt cuff.
Oh, I hope so.
For McKess, Amanda Seyfried.
Oh, I love her.
Because she's a solid actor, and I don't know, there's something about it that I feel like I believe she's maybe kind of an alien. But not in, like, a really obvious way. But I was like, there's something somewhat ethereal and otherworldly about her that I would buy Alien. This 7, honestly, had the hardest time with.
That's fascinating.
I just could not. It took ages. I picked her like maybe 10 minutes before we started because I was thinking about it that fucking long. Léa Seydoux. It's French. I'm definitely mispronouncing it. She's in a bunch of stuff. Not gonna lie, I'm mostly picking her because of Death Stranding. She's great in that. She's this very sort of stoic figure with a lot of emotions bubbling just beneath the surface. So I feel like she could bring that sort of struggling to remain stoic and Borgy, but really it doesn't always work in the crack show on occasion thing. So I went with her. She's in a ton of stuff, but
nice.
I mostly know her from James Bond and video games. Oh, and she's in Dunk Park Tunk. She's the one that like fucks Fade Routha.
Oh, okay. That's right. I know her from,
cool.
Yeah, and that is
love it.
My grouping.
These are so fun.
Yeah, these are quite fun.
I do enjoy that Jake and I had a lot of the same picks.
Yeah.
I will say I was very tempted, just as a joke, to do Matthew Lillard for Paris. Because
it kind of fits.
It's kind of stoner energy.
Well, not just that, but if you've looked at photos of the two of them recently, they look so much alike now.
Yes.
Like, they didn't at the time, but now they're almost interchangeable.
Because they both kind of, like, got a little bit of middle-aged spread going.
Yeah, like, they have very similar faces. Like, Lillard has, like, his eyes are a little more, like, forward in his skull, for lack of a better term. And that's, like, kind of the main thing.
Predator.
Yeah. Like, aside from the eyes, they look so much alike now. It's so weird.
They really do. You're right.
Yeah.
I thought about putting Snoopy in for Paris.
Because
like
the
Snoopy,
Red Baron?
the dog.
Yeah.
Because he's a pilot.
Oh, the dog.
Literally.
Oh, my God.
Literally, that's why I thought about it. But I was
saving
like, that
him
would be
for
so
Porthos next week.
Aww.
Dearie dear. Yeah. God, next week is Enterprise. That'll be interesting.
I'm going to cast Beethoven from Beethoven.
As Archer.
Airbud.
Yeah, as Archer, exactly. It'd be a way better show.
All dog cast for Enterprise.
Oh my God, yes. Except for Porthos, who will be people.
Oh my God, I know he's not English, but I've got the perfect dog read. The Taco Bell Chihuahua.
Jesus Christ.
Chihuahua.
Works.
Anyway, that's next week. What is next week, Jake?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because next week is another episode of our podcast.
Woo!
Whoa.
During which we'll discuss the next episode of Star Trek Discovery, The Sound of Thunder, which is generally like...
Isn't that the title of a Ray Bradbury story?
I don't know.
I don't know off the top of my head.
But that's what it is. And we'll get to find out what The Sound of Thunder is next week. We'll also be talking, as kind of mentioned a moment ago, about our Enterprise fantasy recasting, which will not be only dogs. Or maybe.
So you say.
You're welcome to pick dogs. I don't think... it's a free country.
That's true. That's true. No rules. Also, it is a Sound of Thunder is the Bradbury story.
He knows
enough.
There's multiple sounds.
Well, I'm sure we will give it thunderous applause.
Woo!
I don't know. It might be shit. Who knows? But we'll find out next week on A Star to Steer Her By. Until then, you can catch up with us on the internet, on Blue Sky, SSHB Podcast, on Tumblr, SSHB Podcast, or just at sshbpodcast.com, or find us on Facebook, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all the tubes. Get the shit. Get the podcast, listen to us, rate us 5 stars, rate us 4 stars, and anything lower than that, fuck you. But anyway, yeah, we fucking love it. We love you. Come back next time. Until then, my name is Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This is always Caitlin.
I just watched you physically, like picture the table, Chris.
Yeah.
Like, where do I sit next to Jake?
Yeah.